Hi everybody, it's Claire with another art journal video, and this one is for Scrap FX. So in this one I'm playing in the Craft Junk Journal kit. I have got some of these on my website at the moment. They do tend to sell out quite quickly, so if you're interested in getting one, I suggest you get one quickly. I was a little bit over keen with the clear gesso there. You notice there was quite a lot on the page. These craft pages do tend to be quite thirsty, as I've said before, so don't worry if that ever happens to you. I so often put too much gesso out. It doesn't really matter whether it's clear or white gesso. I always like, oh my gosh, I'm swimming in the stuff. But it does absorb quite quickly, and if I've got any left over, I'll just grab another journal and whack some on the spare page. So I'm going in with some turquoise to start off with, and then I was going to add some cheddar onto my page as well, but decided I was going to use this fabulous question mark stencil from Scrap FX. This is one of their new products this month, and I'm using cheddar through the stencil instead of just putting it straight onto my page. I'm going to use a blending tool to pop it through the stencil as well. So cheddar works really nicely with turquoise. It's a great contrast against it. And it's just one of my favourite oranges. I love it. I didn't think I would like it at first, but it really is a lovely, lovely colour and works really nicely with turquoise and with the pink as well. Those three colours really do complement each other really well. So I'm just adding some stenciling over the page, and you will be really surprised on this page as well, because not only have I got my design in on the page, but I've also left some space, which is really most unlike me. I don't quite know what's going on there, because you know me, I like to fill the page with everything going. Anything I can lay my hands on that happens to be close by ends up on there, doesn't it? So when I'd finished this page and I looked, I was like, oh my gosh, I've actually left some space. So this yellow is one of Dina's new neon colours called Gnarly, and I'm just using a gift card to just scrape some of that paint on. These paints are quite translucent, although they do layer to create a more opaque colour if that's what you're after, but they work really nicely on top of other colours and allow some of the layers underneath to peep through, so they're quite fun to play with in that way. And so scraping the colour on with a card is a great way to just get like a little thin layer on there and allow you to see what's going on underneath. So yeah, just spending a bit of time scraping some of that paint on, just kind of not worrying too much about where it goes, and scraping it one way and then another, just to kind of pull it around the page a little bit, and then giving it a bit of a smoosh with my finger too. So then this is a stencil, as you can see, called Cross Windows. This is also another one, and here I'm using the new pink neon from Dina, which is called Stoked. And I'm just adding some of these patterns onto my page, and you can see I'm using like a pouncing motion with the blending tool. That means I'm able to get a bit more of a bit of a thicker layer of paint through the stencil, and you can see that in different places, depending on what's underneath, it reacts differently, looks a slightly different tone to the colour. So it's lots of fun again, because it's quite translucent. They are lots of fun to play with, the neons. I found myself reaching for them so often. It surprised me, to be honest. Okay, so I've got those on as my starting point. You can see there I was just counting. I like to try and make sure that I've got odd numbers, and to be honest, quite often I can tell. The page just will not feel quite right if there isn't an odd number of things on there. And then because I got a bit of paint left in that blending tool, didn't want to waste it, so I'm just kind of smooshing the blending tool around on the page, just with this little bit of paint left over, just to pull some of that paint out onto the page, and it just adds another layer of colour as well. So this collage paper is called Fleur de Lis. This is from Scrap FX as well, and the hand mask that you can see me flapping about there is called the hand stencil, and it comes with a stencil and a mask as well. Really fabulous. So here I'm just carefully drawing around it on the back of the collage paper, having to hold the fingers in place because obviously they will just wibble around a little bit. So I'm taking my time drawing around it, and then I'm going to cut it out and it's going to be stuck onto the page, and I'm going to use some gel medium to pop that in place. So here you can see I'm just adding some more pieces of that collage paper onto the page. So that means it just helps that hand feel a bit more like it's a part of what's going on, because the collage paper is there in other places as well. So it's just adding that little bit of sort of continuity to the page too. And this is something that's a great way to make your page sort of come together. If you've used something in one place, if you can use it in other places as well, even if it's only in really little pieces, it will just help the flow of your journal page. So next I'm using one of my stamps from Funky Fossil that I designed. This is the Dotty stamp, one of my favourites. I think I probably use this on every journal page now. And just using some black archival ink. So this is just bringing a bit of mark making onto the background, and as you know I do like to add dots, so this is a really quick way to do it now. And then I am using a Stampers Anonymous text stamp. This has got almost like a typewritten font on it, just to bring a bit of text onto the background as well. I'm not using the whole stamp, just using parts of it. And then going around the hand with a Posca pen in a sort of rough sketchy way, going around it a couple of times in some places, and just bringing that sort of sketchy look. This also has the effect of pushing the hand out of the background. This would have worked equally well with a Stabilo oil pencil, which you then can water activate. That would also just create that sort of nice shadowy effect around the hand as well. And the reason I use the Posca pen, well, it's just because it was there. So here is difficult to see, but I've got a little chipboard, which is called, says possibilities. No, it doesn't. It's from the possibilities set. This one says don't hold back. And I've just added some black paint onto there. And then I was like, okay, that disappears on the background. So I'm going to stick it onto the edge of this white bit of paper. I stapled it in place and then cut it out, just sort of giving that a little bit of a border and making it show up a bit better. And then that's going to be added into the centre of my page. That stands out much better now because it's got that white contrast behind it. Then I'm using my double-sided tape gun. I feel like this is a lazy person's glue. It's so quick. I love it. I think this is one of my favourite tools. So yeah, just that's a really quick way. I haven't got to faff about trying to peel the back off the double-sided tape. So it's a really quick thing. Makes it a quick job. I'm just trying to see what brand it is. It's a scrapbook adhesives. It's called an Easy Runner, spelled EZ Runner Grand. And you can get refills for it as well, which is even better. Then of course I'm going in with some white dots. This is to add a bit more contrast, and it's to pull the white that's in the centre of the page out to the edges as well, so that it all kind of works together as a whole. Clearly having a think there, I don't know, or either that or I'd stalled, I'm not sure. So you notice I'm using big dots and small dots, just varying the sizes of those as well, just that also creating those other levels of interest there. And then finally, I'm using the Plus Collages stamp from Scrap FX because, you know, sometimes I just can't stop faffing. I'm going in with some black archival ink and adding some places of stamping on the page too. And I think that just finishes it off really nicely. Sorry, sorry. So this was a really fun page to create using the new hand stencil and mask from Scrap FX as my focal point with the collage paper, which meant that I didn't have to do any hard work with that focal point really. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.